first I wasn't sure that I could do the small school environment because I came from a high school campus of, over 5,000 people, so I never thought I'd want to go to a small school. But I wasn't sure if I wanted to play basketball or not, and I was just seeing my options, seeing what was out there, and I really wanted to go to a strong academic school. So obviously Hillsdale was at the top of the list for that criteria. And I came and I visited with the girls, and I really had a great time and just really liked the family atmosphere. I stayed with Jesse Miller.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people remember, and we're still good friends. And so basically just the team brought me in and the push of my parents.
Had coach recruited you? Did she go to some of your games and see you play? I mean, how did that process go as far as recruiting?
Actually, she had come to my game to watch Claire because we'd played against
Oh,
each
right,
other.
right.
I think. No, she came to see me. But she sent me an email and was talking about coming here for a scholarship, and that was actually the first time I had ever heard of Hillsdale, which is kind of crazy since I only live an hour and 15 minutes away. But that's how it all started.
Katie, had you been recruited at a lot of schools? Or were you heavily recruited to schools, or not so much?
I visited some schools more heavily than others. In the GLIAC, I looked at Northwood.
I guess the point I want to get out is, were all of these schools recruiting you to play basketball? These Division II schools?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I was getting lots of letters
Okay.
from different schools
Okay.
everywhere. Starting, I would think I was, all state honorable mention starting my sophomore year, so that's when it started.
So you say you weren't sure you wanted to play college basketball. Now,
Right.
It sounds to me like it was a no-brainer that you'd play. Why did you consider not playing?
I'd never really thought about it. A lot of girls, that's their goal, that's, what they want to do, and I'd always played because it was fun and I was good at it, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to be a college athlete.
Coach, when you saw her play,
Wait to answer this question.
when you saw her play at high school, what did you see? What did you think her ceiling was when you recruited her and saw her play live during that process?
Well, let me give you the story.
Okay, let's do it.
I don't know if she knows this. I know her coach really well. We've always Coach Bloom did a great job at Canton, and we've always talked, and we maintain a pretty good relationship. And I saw her sophomore year. I believe they were at U of M's team camp. At that time, we used to go to a lot of team camps, and they would allow us to do that. Division I people couldn't. And he had talked to me about, well, I think she's going to be Division I, and on and on and on. And that was her sophomore year. So we just kind of kept her on the back of our radar to see what was going to happen. And then, lo and behold, as her senior year approached, at that time, even 4 years ago, it was still a little bit different than it is now. As her senior year approached, we could tell that maybe it wasn't going to work out that way. And he had contacted me, and so when I went to see them play, I didn't go to see Claire, but I went to see Katie too, and I still remember that game vividly because they guarded each other, and it was fun, and we had talked to my appointment was to see Claire and talk to her coach, but Coach Bloom kept me informed on what was going on, and we just thought we'd go for it. What the heck, and being a 6 foot forward. And many times is too small for Division I, even though I think that there are many schools that I can think of right off the top of my head right now that are mid-majors that, would have been, Katie would have done very well. I saw the Notre Dame staff just recently at the Final Four, and they laughed. They said Katie got her start when we played Notre Dame in that exhibition because she had a great game against Notre Dame. So that's how good, she became. But I think during her high school years, there was a question of where she was going to play, if she was going to play, and, what the situation was going to be. So as time went on, I remember seeing her in AAU, and then we got more serious. And then, it became, a great thing for Hillsdale, obviously.
Was she offered a large scholarship to come to Hillsdale College and play basketball?
Yep. When we recruit top-level athletes, it's usually a full scholarship.
So you considered her a top-level prospect?
I remember academically, we always try to, hopefully we can put at least a little bit of academic scholarship money together to help our budget. But, that was definitely, we were going to certainly take care of her cost of the education.
Were you disappointed, Katie Cezat, at the very beginning when it looked like maybe you weren't going to be a college or a Division I college player? Was that an aspiration? You say you weren't really sure you wanted to play, so you didn't necessarily mind that it was going to be Division II?
Right. I actually think that this schedule worked out better for me because I really appreciated having the summers off. I mean, with the summers off, I was able to do 2 internships, full time and things like that. And I wasn't crazy. I'm still not crazy about all the back things that go along with the basketball, all the intense conditioning and the weightlifting. And I just like playing more. So I think if I would go on Division I, that would have been a much stronger aspect of the game.
Do you remember, Katie, when you played Claire, whether or not her father Joe was yelling back in high school, or?
No, I think that developed just for Hillsdale.
Yeah.
I should feel happy about that.
I would agree.
Very special.
Go! I'll never forget it. It was a special year and a lot of fun. I want to take a quick break to get a couple of commercials in. We're going to do a weather, and then we'll continue the conversation in just a minute with Katie Cezat and Claudette Charney on AM and FM. AM 1340, FM 92.1, WCSR, Wednesday Sports Show. Andy Brown with you. Special guest tonight, the All-American, the All-Everything, Katie Cezat, and her fine coach, Claudette Charney. Forecast for tonight, mostly clear skies, lows in the low 30s. For Thursday, sunshine, highs in the lower 60s. Friday, sunshine, highs in the upper 60s. Good-looking day for Friday. The weekend, we're going to see 70 degrees and sunshine on Saturday. Sunday, cloudy with a 50% chance of showers and a high around 60 degrees. Currently at our downtown studios, we have 61 degrees. Good-looking Wednesday evening as we rejoin Katie and Claudette. You come on campus, you get oriented your freshman year, Katie, and you go through all of the work and the practicing, and you've already said you don't love conditioning and all that kind of thing. And then the season rolls around, and you really don't play much at all your freshman year. Now, what Coach just said was that you were a highly recruited player, sort of a borderline D1 player. Did you anticipate your freshman year playing more than you did? Was that your expectation?
Yes, I would say so. I mean, I really didn't play much, so I didn't think I was going to be a starter. I didn't know what to expect,
right.
But I probably thought I'd get in more of the games.
So how tough was it for you that first year to sit the bench? You had a good team. There were a lot of talented players in front of you. How tough was it to sit and watch and kind of learn and absorb that way?
It was pretty hard. I think ever since, 3rd grade, I'd been a starter on my basketball team. Then to have the experience of not even getting in a game is definitely a big difference. And
you probably had that experience a lot of times. I mean, there are probably a lot of games where you just DNP, coach's decision. I was telling Katie before you got here, I didn't even know who she was until her junior year. Sophomore year, you got in a little bit more, right?
I don't know.
About the same?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of games even as a sophomore where you didn't play.
Yeah.
Now, Coach has said, because I've asked her this 100 times, and I know a lot of people have, she said that it wasn't your offensive game. It was learning how the defensive system works. Is that an accurate statement as to why you didn't play as much those first couple of years?
I think only Coach Charney can answer that question.
Well put, Katie. Well put. Claudette, did you think about possibly trying to redshirt Katie? Obviously, now we wish we could have done that, but was that ever a consideration? And talk about that decision those first 2 years that she didn't play a lot.
Well, I think anytime you have upperclassmen, you have a tendency to play towards their strengths. And when Katie came in, she was not the Katie that we saw in the last couple of years. But from an offensive standpoint, there was no question she was going to be able to play. No, redshirting really didn't come into play. I thought that I remember glimpses. I remember, I haven't looked up her freshman and sophomore statistics. We were a different team. We were more, one of the players that she played behind, Nikki Wussman, in the post, was a very good defender. I mean, when it came down to, maybe didn't score as much, but she got around post.